And we are back, the EOG Sports Hour. John Kelly and David Gleason on a Tuesday night. Our Tuesday night regular is Alan Dinkinson. We're glad he's in studio tonight. He brought along with him 24-year-old female jockey Cecily Evans. A pleasure to have you in studio, Cecily. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How is life at Santa Anita? You're not only an exercise rider, but you're also a jock in the afternoon. Tell us the difference between riding in the morning hours and riding in the afternoon.
Well, you're doing different things between like riding in the morning and the afternoon. In the morning, you're exercising the horses. You might just take them out for a jog, or you might be galloping them or working them. But you're just trying to maintain their fitness and get them ready to the races. But in the afternoon, the races are a whole different thing. I mean, it's a whole new level of competition. You're out there and you're all just like fighting for that win.
How about the nerves? Do you have butterflies before the race in the afternoons?
You know, to some extent, I think I do, just because I haven't been out there that much, and I think that lessens with time and experience. But for me, once I'm on the horse, I'm fine. You know, it's knowing where to go and getting used to the whole process. I think that's more nerve-wracking. Once I'm on the horse, I feel so good and just confident and ready to go.
How do the veteran jockeys approach a 24-year-old newcomer, especially a female newcomer?
You know, everyone out there so far that I've talked to and interacted with has been just super helpful. After the races, people will come and tell me, you know, hey, I noticed you did this out there. You might want to try doing this instead. Or, hey, practice this in the morning. People will say to me, you know, switch your stick in the morning, or be sure to do it in a race, or just different things. Like, it's a dangerous profession, so people want you to be safe out there and make it the best environment for everyone. So they've just all been really helpful in trying to teach me.
How about the dangers of riding in Southern California? Because it is a competitive marketplace. I once had a chat with Russell Bays, one of the greatest jocks of all time. He said the biggest difference between Northern California and Southern California was that Southern California, the race riding is so tight. You know, the jockeys will really, you know, challenge you for every inch position, whereas Northern California wasn't quite the same. The safety factor of riding in the afternoons at Santa Anita, do you feel safe out there?
You know, I do feel safe out there because the level of riding is just so extraordinary. You have the best riders in the country, and they don't want to get themselves hurt. They don't want to get you hurt. I mean, everyone's going to be aggressive and riding as hard as they can, but people don't want to put anyone in danger. And I don't think that necessarily it's more dangerous out here than it is anywhere else. I mean, a lot can happen out there. People clip heels, horses break down, but that's everywhere.
What's the worst injury you've incurred in your young career?
About a year and a half ago, I tore my ACL and MCL and fractured my fibula. But that was just in a freak accident in the morning.
What happened?
I was taking a baby to the gate to school, and I came off of it, and I landed on my feet holding it, and it spun around and it kicked me below the knee, and it knocked me down and it tore my knee up.
I broke a nail the other day rooting for a basketball game. I have a question. So do other jockeys look at you to make sure you're not a menace? So who's this new kid? Hopefully she's not dangerous to us, because you know that, you know, the Bejarano's and the Gomez's aren't going to be dangerous to you. Are they checking you and giving you the once-over to know that you're cool?
Oh, absolutely. I've had people say, oh, I knew you were in front of me. I didn't know if you would know to, do this here, so I was watching out, and you did that fine, but next time maybe you should do this instead. And also, when you go through the licensing process here at Santa Anita, I think they're especially tough with it. You have to go through and get all sort of approval from different people. The safety steward watched me work horses, and you have to have some of the top jockeys sign off for you. And they want to make sure that they watch you and that they know that you're not going to be a danger out there, because they don't want to put themselves in a bad position.
And most people know you because you work out horses in the morning, so they can see that you're a competent horse person.
Right, I would hope.
I was going to say horseman, but I said horse person. Yeah, well, they get a trust factor. Right? You just don't come up and you go, "Who's this? I've never heard of her." Most people are aware of you, right? Just because you work out horses.
Right, I've been around in the morning enough that everyone knows who I am, whether I know them personally or not. But
do you think being a girl in the mornings gets you more attention than being a guy that is more nondescript because you're in a minority?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I think being a girl gets you a lot of attention, whether it's a
Good or bad?
necessarily riding attention or not. I've definitely made quite a few new friends. So.
Okay. Are they looking to more than friendship, some of these people? Do you
Oh,
find
yeah.
that on the backstretch?
Oh, yeah. I mean, people are very straightforward. And I've had people, I give them my number saying, hey, can I get on a horse for you? And they'll take that number and then say, oh, want to go out for drinks? I'm like, no, I don't want drinks. I want horses.
And when you say no, do they not give you the horses?
Sometimes people are a little bit just don't contact you then or something. But if you're persistent and really show them that's what you're interested in, they'll respect that and they'll get that and hopefully put you on something.
I think it was different in the 80s and 90s when girls were breaking in. Sometimes there were relationships developed between jockey and trainer that weren't quite, that were mutually beneficial maybe. And that was kind of the way it was, but I don't think it's like that anymore.
Is it Frank Brothers and Donna Barton? Were they?
Well, they got married.
They got married.
Yeah.
They were met at the race.
The one that
that's
I
not a
knew
mutually
was
beneficial relationship.
Alfred Vanderbilt, who was a rich owner, and Robin Smith.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that
a
was
young jockey.
A very young jockey and a 70-year-old guy. So it was a little suspect. But, yeah.
Jay Hovday and Julie Crone.
Yeah, was that before Julie Crone made her name for herself?
I think it was after.
Yeah, me too. So, I don't know. I mean, that's, the casting couch for jockeys is probably there, but I don't think it's nearly what it is now as what it was when women were trying to break through into the game.
Cecily Evans, how aware are you of the history of thoroughbred racing? What does the name Julie Crone mean to you?
Well, Julie is known as one of the most amazing women riders of, I guess I was going to say of our time, but she's not really of our time. So
Of our time.
I guess of just
That was a hard thing to do tactfully there.
Yeah.
You want to say all time, but you don't want to
Yeah,
suggest
she's
she's
twice
old.
your age,
No,
for sure.
so that was
guess-
that was a tough one. So you get a pass for that.
No, but she's known as an amazing rider, and I think it's great what she did. I think it's amazing how well she did, and I think that when times were a lot tougher for women riders, like she really had to fight a lot harder to break through and to get the mount she did and to prove herself. So I think that's amazing.
She got into a lot of fistfights. She had an epic fistfight with Chris Antley when he crowded
wow.
her in. It
That's
was
pretty
like,
cool.
yeah, that kind
You know
of
what's
made her
funny,
name
though?
as tough.
My ex-wife was a chef for a number of years, which is another male-dominated profession, and she used to have to throw pots and pans at male chefs to get respect. So there's probably something to that. That you almost like a prison mentality. You have to earn
when you're in a
respect.
minority, no matter
Yeah.
what minority you
And
are,
you're
have to
perceived correctly or
earn the
not
right.
as the lesser, weaker sex.
Yeah.
You got to throw pots and pans, metaphorically speaking.
Cecily, how about an honest self-evaluation of your skills as a jockey? Give me the self-scouting report, your strengths and weaknesses as a jock.
Well, that's a tough one. I'm always tentative to say too much about myself.
You're the guest. That's what we want you
Yeah,
to
we
do.
want you to
No,
brag.
but-
yeah.
That's
All-
the point
all-
of this endeavor.
Right.
We're here every night. Okay.
And a good opportunity to sell yourself as well, because you do have to put modesty aside. In this day and age, you do have to
I
self-promote.
mean, you chose
Shameless
to
self-
ride.
Well,
it.
that's hard though.
You chose to ride it and break in at the toughest track in the world to break in, so you must have faith in your abilities.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that wasn't necessarily my plan. I mean, I'm aware of just the level of riding there is out here and stuff. I was just gonna come out here to ride for a few months and then go back east to try and start riding again. But I just fell in love with California, so I'm kind of
The West
dragging
Coast
my
works
feet
out.
at leaving.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
When did you arrive at Santa Anita in Southern California?
I came for the beginning of the Del Mar meet. I have family out in San Diego, so I was just gonna come for a few months and stay out here. And then go back,
What was the difference, or what are the differences between riding at Del Mar and riding at Santa Anita? Tell me about the two racetrack surfaces.
Well, Del Mar is a synthetic track. It's a smaller track as well. And Santa Anita has the dirt surface. It has a nice training track in the middle, and it's a lot roomier. When I first got to Del Mar, I was really surprised. It was just so crowded, so many horses. And I wasn't used to the feel of the synthetic track just because I had ridden mainly on dirt tracks back east.
And you rode at Pimlico at one time, correct?
Yeah, I exercised there at one point, and I rode a few like amateur races and stuff.
Cecily Evans, originally from Baltimore, 24-year-old jock, riding currently at Santa Anita. She's a graduate of Goucher College. We'll ask her about her college days in a moment. Back to your strengths and weaknesses, though. Greatest strength and the most glaring weakness, something you have to work on as a jock.
Well, I think strength-wise, I am pretty good at getting horses to relax and settle, like in the mornings and stuff like that. I can get them to usually gallop like on a nice loose rein, find their nice like a nice happy comfortable stride and kind of calm down. And I have a pretty good clock in the morning as well. I mean, it's something difficult and you can always work on, but I've had very positive feedback about that. So hopefully that can translate over to the afternoon, which will help knowing how fast you're going and judging the races. In terms of weaknesses, I'm still not used to being out there necessarily. You know, like I need to get stronger. I need to just keep practicing all the basic things and getting a feel for how it is in the races, so I can start to maybe ride a little bit more aggressively or have a better feel of where I am and where everyone else is and stuff like that. Things that just come with time.
Have you won a race at Santa Anita yet?
No, I have not.
How many career rides at Santa Anita?
I think I've ridden 7 now, maybe.
7 rides. And best finish?
I was 3rd on one horse. So
What odds did that horse go off at?
I think 8-1, maybe.
So you've run to your odds a lot, because most of the time, you know, being a young, inexperienced jockey, people aren't going to give you a 1 to 5 shot to ride. You're going to get a lot of long shots.
Yeah, but you know, that's good. Like, I'm happy to ride long shots. I'm happy to ride anything just to get the experience to being out there. I mean, part of the thing of having the bug, that's why you have it, to give people incentives so that you can get out there and learn. I would love, as much as I want to win races, I would love to have the 10-pound allowance for a long time so I can just keep practicing and keep learning before that crucial bug year starts.
Which trainers respect the bug? They want their jockeys to ride light.
You know, out here it's hard to know. There's not a lot of bug riders, so.
No, Talamo was a bug rider here, and he made it through. Corey Nakatani was a bug rider here, and he made it through. So there is a precedent of people using those jocks when they prove themselves to be competent. So just, you know, plug in and keep going and show them what you're all about.
How about jockeys who you've seen in the afternoons or mornings that you've admired? Anyone whose career you want to pattern yours after?
Well, in terms of career patterns, I'm not necessarily sure which path I want to take at this point, because there's so many different options, you know, and I think it just depends how well you do and where you can get the business and go from there. Definitely working with like jockeys and stuff like that, there's certain ones I want to ride more like and stuff.
Who's the closest rider to the perfect rider? You know, who would you say, if I had one person's skill and one person's seat and one person's strength and one person's mind, I would want to be. It has to be one. You can't combine 4.
It's like if you're going to be on the radio, you'd want to say, I want to be like David Gleason. Something like that.
That's exactly what she said before she met you.
Well, that's what most
now
people.
that she knows you, I'm not so sure what she did.
Like
Is that a tough question?
That's super
Who has the
tough.
best mind? Who do you think has the best mind? Strategy-wise, puts horses in the best place.
Why don't you answer the question for us, Deke?
I don't know. I mean,
No, I don't know. I mean,
I think Gomez puts horses in amazingly unique spots.
Right.
Sometimes I'm going, what is he doing? And he wins.
And you know what I like about Gomez, Dink? When the money's on the line, he's at his best. I mean, he uncanny.
And
6
people
and 7
really
years.
envision him as a closing from behind jockey. He's great in the front.
That-
He's not there that much, but when he's there by himself, it's really hard to get by him. You know,
Remember Eddie Delahousse was the same
Yeah,
way. I mean,
yeah.
he was flying from behind all the
But
time.
the rare times he was in the front, he was very tough to
He
beat.
was money. And Rafael Bejarano, Cecily, when I see him, you know, in the final furlong, final 100 yards especially, he rarely loses a tight finish. He powers horses home. He's probably the strongest jock at San
I think
Diego.
Rosario was, but now that he's gone, mostly to right East Coast, I think Bejarano does something I've never seen as much. He's into the horse early in the race and he doesn't stop asking his horse, and I'm always confused. I go, oh, he's